What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I wanted to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's going on with the economic calendar moving forward, talk about some big earnings that just came out, and what you should be watching for on Tesla, SPY, and all these different tickers. But let me just mention that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total. And the offer ends very soon in just about 7 days from now. Anyways, looking at Tesla, we're on a bit of a downtrend right now. We're still continuing to fall right here. We actually are below our 225 support, and we're going to be looking to see how well Tesla holds the next support zones below this. So I'll be talking about those in just about a minute. Just know that Tesla is once again sinking as profits are continuing to shrink. Right now, reports are saying that Tesla's profit dropped 45% compared to a year ago, and that is not the best of news. On top of this, there's also a lot of talk about how they missed on EPS, and the media loves to rub this in. Despite that, don't forget that earnings are not all bad. There was still a lot of good news that came out. They beat on revenue. We saw a lot of optimism involving the robo-taxi and all these other events. So I wouldn't necessarily say that it was a bad earnings or anything like that. It was just kind of mixed in terms of EPS and the other things like that. A lot of short-term catalysts are not the best, but long-term catalysts and medium-term are still very, very bullish. So I'm still very bullish medium-term and long-term for Tesla. Just for the short-term, we actually saw a shift in their EPS, not to mention some uncertainty involving the election and a lot of other factors like that. Now, with all of this going out, Musk is also mentioning that, Tesla as a company is all about autonomy. Tesla is going to achieve autonomy, and he's basically assuring us not to worry. So that's a big part of what's going to make Tesla profitable, at least for the long term. So moving forward, there was a lot of talk about the long-term catalyst from FSD, the Optimus robots, the robo-taxi, and such. For the short term, when it comes to sales, we have to be a little bit more careful. Tesla's going to have more expenses as a company because they did end up dropping expenses for Q2. That's because they have a lot of projects they're going to be working on. But as far as other things go, Tesla's still remaining in a very, very good place to position itself, at least for the long term. For other factors involving the markets, we just had AT&T announce its earnings, and then we have Chipotle, Ford, and IBM after the market closes for today. For AT&T, they actually did relatively well. We actually saw them see lots of subscriber additions that are beating estimations, not to mention the fact that we had decent earnings as well with good guidance. So they added 419,000 subscribers. They actually saw some good growth overall, and we're looking for more and more dividend payouts that are actually increasing more than 9%. So that is good news, at least for AT&T. For the economic calendar, guys, don't forget there's going to be some volatility at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have the S&P Global Composites, Manufacturing and Services PMI reports. It's going to give us more insights on how this different sector is looking. So we'll watch and see what we end up getting at least at 9:45 a.m., 15 minutes after the market opens, just for some reference. And besides that, there's not really much else coming out for the rest of the day. We do have some bill auctions at 11:30 a.m. That's pretty much it. There's nothing too crazy coming out for the markets. We just have some PMI reports coming out at 9:45 a.m. So we'll see how that ends up affecting the markets. So as far as Tesla goes, we're looking at this 225 area as our key support right now. Tesla's fighting to try to hold this. If we lose 225, I'll be looking for basically 220. We're already down 8%, so it might not crash as hard from this point on, at least for today, but it might still continue to see some downside. It might be some downside. It might not drop another 8%, but it could actually drop another few percentage points. It depends if we can hold the 225 or not. If we lose that, I'll be looking at 220 as a key level. If that fails us, I think we're easily going back down towards 212, very close to where the 4-hour 200 EMA happens to be as a critical support. So watch 225. We'll see if Tesla could hold this or not. If it fails, I'll be looking for 220. As of right now, the trend looks more bearish. For SPY, we're looking more bearish right now. We're barely at support. We're actually just barely holding the support at 548.5. If we lose this, I'll be looking for a move all the way down towards the 546.8 area. There's going to be a big drop coming if we lose 548.5, so it's critical support on SPY. The resistance at 550.5. If we lose the support, we'll be looking for a big dip all the way down to 547, so just be careful if we end up failing to hold that. And then we also have the mid 540s coming if that fails, like 545 and 544. So just be careful at 548.5. We'll see if this holds or not, so watch for that very carefully. For ES, we're also dipping. We're actually testing our 200 EMA. If this breaks, we're going to continue to fall even more, so just be very careful with that. SPX is in a very, very similar boat. We have this big gap to fill down here. So if SPX continues to fall, this would be bearish as well. So just be careful. Nvidia is continuing to fall right here. Make sure you guys watch the 200 EMA. In my personal opinion, I think we might come down to fill this gap towards 118 and eventually retest 117, which is where our 200 EMA happens to be. So Nvidia is looking a little bit more bearish to me. Be careful right over there. For Bitcoin, we're fighting resistance at 66,500. If we lose that and reject, look for 65,500 next. If that fails us, there's an imbalance to fill all the way down towards 64,000. So watch and see what ends up happening here. We might reject a bit and come down to 65,500. So be very, very mindful of that. NQ is also rejecting. We failed to break past 20,000 yesterday. We're continuing to fall really hard. Going to be looking at the support right here at 19,500. We'll see if that holds or not. For the QQQ, we're dipping right now, testing our 200 EMA. We're at support at 473. We'll see if this holds or not. If we lose this, this is going to be coming all the way down to these imbalances. We could be looking for 468 if we lose the 473 area. If we end up bouncing off of this, watch 475 as resistance. This is favoring downside, so be careful at 473.5. We'll see if that breaks or not, and that could lead to even more downside. For Aapl, it's a bit of a downtrend that's been respected. We're still kind of range bound, but you guys can see it's starting to downtrend a little bit more. I'll be looking for a test of 222. We'll see if Aapl bounces off this and remains range bound or not. But if we lose 222, there's going to be a bigger drop coming. We have an imbalance to fill all the way down towards 222. And if that breaks, we'll be coming down here towards 219. So be careful on Aapl, guys. It looks a little bit more bearish, but we are still in our range. So we'll see how well it holds the 222 area. So watch for that. For the IWM, we're kind of rejecting. Make sure you look for support at 219.87. If that fails us, we'll be looking for this imbalance towards 217. For Coinbase is on a bit of a downtrend right here. Look for a test of 254. We'll see if it bounces or not. For Meta, we're on a bit of a downtrend. We're kind of rejecting right here. We could continue to fall towards this imbalance or around 470. There's a bit of a downtrend as well in Meta, kind of getting a big rejection right here. For others out there, we have Microsoft, which is dipping. Look at our 200 EMA 439 as support. If we lose that, we're going to be dipping all the way down towards 433. And if we hold this, we could rebound. This looks a bit more bearish to me. And for Google, we're rejecting as well. Looks a little bit more bearish. Could continue to fall quite a bit. Google's barely at 175. Our target would be all the way down here towards 171 if we lose 175. So it's also at critical support. So a lot of stocks are at critical support right now, especially Tesla. We'll see how well they hold up. Watch 225 on Tesla. If that breaks, will continue to fall. And the share price still looks kind of bearish right here. So look and see if we could hold 225. We'll see how many buyers can step in to defend this. But as time goes on, we'll see if we could hold 225 on Tesla. So watch for that as critical support. Watch 230 and 232 as resistance. But just notice that right now the trend is favoring downside for Tesla, and we could continue to downtrend as time goes on. All right, thank you for listening, guys. I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Tesla to the moon. The long term is still very bright with all those catalysts that came out from earnings for the robotaxi and etc. I'm still very excited for Tesla's long term, but the short term is still not looking that great, at least for the share price. There is still some downside risk. I want to give you guys a warning, so have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you, and peace out.